Greetings, and I do appreciate anyone that tunes in, though at times I'm not sure why someone would. This is episode 13 titled The Dirty Mirror. Investing is the New Sexy, the difference between speaking and being silent, and in between the in betweens. I kept a small mirror in my cube at work years ago for obvious reasons. I didn't want to look like shit at work, especially since I was getting up there in age. Okay, so I'm a little vain. The mirror was getting quite dirty and dusty from neglect, and I noticed that I didn't seem to look too bad. But now, being aware of the accumulating dirt buildup, I decided to use some Windex, and sure enough, after cleaning the mirror, voila, I see myself as I really am. Old, wrinkled, battle-weary, tired, and sagging. Nothing like a little Windex to bring me back to reality. A friend of mine who's very much into investing on his own in the stock market and doing his own research tells me that MarketWatch.com stated that investing and saving money is now the new sexy. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's an institution that knows all about being sexy. When people have nothing to say, they speak. When they have much to say, they're silent, which is synonymous with what I'm doing right now. Nothing to say, so I speak. I'm not very good with the details or the big picture. I fall somewhere in between, and I'm not even sure where I fall in between the in-betweens. Someone once asked me who the sexiest woman of all time is, and I would undoubtedly go with Ingrid Bergman. She was not only a very beautiful woman, but her eyes were so sultry, alluring, and were also incredible and emoting when she was on stage. And she had the perfect smile. It was almost as if she didn't need to speak. You knew exactly what she was feeling or communicating. Her eyes were so demonstratively expressive, and they had a liquid feel to them, like her eyes were the sea. I don't know if I'm getting carried away here, but I recommend that you watch the movie Casablanca, Gaslight, or Notorious. Then you'll know exactly what I mean. She was an incredible talent. One of the strangest things in life is that many of us fabricate things or make stuff up that turns out to be real. It's happened to me quite a few times. I find that an Australian accent is to the English accent what a New York City accent is to the neutral Midwestern American accent. I have to admit, who cares about this? Probably should have left this piece out. My wife is always telling me that I repeat my stories, and that she's heard some of these stories, which are always fascinating, 70 times or more, but she exaggerates. It's more like 30 or 40 times. For all those people who boast that they tell it like it is, I'd like to know, what exactly do they mean? What is this like it is? It's almost as if they're reporting all the facts and truth to us and saying, I know precisely what reality is, how to interpret anything that I tell you is absolute truth. Sorry, it don't work that way, and it's very arrogant. And this was another comical email with my one of many coworkers from my Cablevision and Altice years. It was Leslie and myself. And Leslie starts with, will you be at the Christmas party tomorrow night? And I replied, not if you're going to be there. And she says, nice talking to you. I was going to bring you a gift, jerk. And I said, okay, that's good with the gift. I'll definitely come now. And she said, it's kind of mandatory. I said, yeah, my gift is, your presence is not. And she says, you're impossible. And my last reply was, see you tomorrow night and don't forget the gift. Oh, God. I asked a coworker if I was chopped liver since she seemed to be ignoring me. I'm a needy person, what can I say? And she replied by saying, not at all, I'd give you my liver if I had to which I replied, you may have to. And I really enjoyed the movie The Departed. It is a very intricate and elaborate and fascinating movie with an excellent cast, too. My evaluation of the movie is that everyone in the movie was a rat or an informer, which translates into a comprehensive paranoia with all of the characters trying to find out who else is a rat, while they know that they themselves are rats. And the way I figured, if you're already a rat, then you could probably spot a rat better than someone who isn't a rat, I assume. The movie is a keen lesson in futility with a House of Mirrors effect, and just about everyone gets killed in the end. It is a great movie. I suppose just about everyone has felt that life is nothing but an exercise in being exposed for all the weaknesses and flaws, but never for your strengths. I know I can, but then again, for me, I have very few strengths. And I'm the epitome of a pseudo-intellectual, a wannabe intellect who falls about 11 short of the required highbrow dozen. And someone told me that you only have one chance to make a first impression. And I told this person that you do have a second chance to make a second impression. If they tell you that you didn't make a great first impression, I would just ask for another chance. And I'm better the second time around anyways. And this was my Mel Brooks take on my son's baby shower several years ago, was that I would address everyone and say, "Excuse me, everyone, we just found out that my son Alex is not the real father of the baby, but enjoy the party. Since we paid for everyone, we don't want everything. We don't want it to go to waste. And thanks for the gifts." And of course, this was not the case, obviously, just clowning. Marriage can be a battlefield. I was negotiating with our home heating oil company for an appointment to have them tune up the furnace. And I told my wife that they're coming in the spring, which was 5 months from then. She told me to give her the number and that she could get it sooner. I did tell my wife that it doesn't make any difference. They do it for nothing every 2 years as part of the contract. But she insisted, so I gave her the number. But I wasn't done yet. I called the company and told them to tell my wife that they had nothing sooner than the date we set up in April. I have my pride to protect, even though that didn't really happen. If I were to think about what you think, and what you think I think, and what you think I think I think, well, you get the idea. All this thinking would assist each other better. There would be less problems in the world, as complicated as that sounds. In another email transaction with Leslie and myself, Leslie emails me one morning, says, "It was a pleasure seeing you yesterday at the town hall meeting." To which I replied, "Yes, it was a pleasure for you to see me yesterday at the town hall meeting." I got no reply. And my wife and I ran into an old acquaintance that we hadn't seen in quite a while. His name is Mike, and he's deaf. And he's a pretty good carpenter, too. So when he did a few jobs for us years ago, we would actually understand some things that he said. But we would keep a notebook and pen with us in case we didn't understand each other. And for some reason, I had this quirky way of unconsciously attempting to use sign language with him. I have no idea why I would do this, since I have no clue whatsoever about signing. But again, my wife knows I could be a total idiot sometimes. Consequently, I was going through my grotesque and surreal interpretations, and Mike would look at me quizzically and with a half smile on his face. He's a wonderful guy, and he understands what I'm attempting to do. He knows what my wife knows. And for all I know, I may have been telling him to go to hell, or claiming that I had a doctor's appointment or needed to go to the bathroom, whatever. No one would know what I was signing about. But we all had a good laugh when I was able to finally get across to him that I didn't know why I would do this. I cherished that moment because it was so nice seeing him again, and that we were all able to laugh at my clownish foibles. And I will stop here, and we'll see you soon.